What's up guys, David here, and with the new iPhone 7, Apple decided to kill the headphone jack. Meaning those fancy headphones you've got? Yeah, they're not gonna work with the new iPhone unless you carry around an adapter. Now, this move has obviously upset a lot of people. There's a bunch of people ranting on social media, there's memes, there's conspiracy theories, and in general, it seems like people just can't understand why Apple would do such a thing. So in today's video, we're gonna look at all the information we have, and as fairly as we can, we're gonna try to determine the real reason why Apple decided to remove the headphone jack. But before we do, I want to give a big shout out to Braintree Payments for sponsoring today's video. So developing your own mobile app can be complex, but integrating your payment option no longer has to be. With Braintree, your business can accept nearly every type of payment from any device with just one integration. Everything from pesos to PayPal to Android Pay and whatever new payment option comes next. Braintree's simple, flexible SDKs make your job and your payments easier. Learn more at braintreepayments.com/phonebook. Alright, let's get right into it. So during the iPhone 7's press event, VP of Marketing Phil Schiller went on stage and positioned the audio jack as this old technology that's been around since the late 1800s. Now, this is a smart move by Apple by angling it in this way, as generally speaking, we all know that newer technology is better than old technology, and the reminder of just how old the audio jack really is kind of primed us to be a little bit more accepting to what they had to say next. But a technology being old in and of itself isn't a reason enough to kill it. So Apple went on to give us their 3 reasons why they decided to remove the headphone jack. We'll go ahead and take a look at each one by one to see how each reason stands up on its own. Let's hear the first one.
So first, we've shown that we can use Lightning for our inbox headphones and to adapt all the older devices through analog interfaces. And it is a great connector for doing that, and there's a very large base of users who can all take advantage of it.
So Apple's first reason to killing the headphone jack is that they've shown that headphones can be used via Lightning, like the ones that they've included in the box, and that they have an adapter that lets you still use your older analog headphones. As a supporting reason, this might work, but on its own, it's not a real reason. Having an alternative that isn't any better than the current option doesn't warrant a change, and Lightning headphones aren't better. The sound quality will be roughly the same as they are with analog headphones, and this alternative comes with the problem of not being able to charge your phone and listen to music at the same time, as well as the inconvenience of having to carry around an adapter for older headphones. So I'm gonna throw out reason number 1, but let's hear reason number 2.
Our smartphones are packed with technologies, and we all want more. We want bigger, brighter displays. We want larger batteries. We want faster processors. We want stereo speakers. We want taptic engines. We want all of that. And it's all fighting for space within that same enclosure. And maintaining an ancient, single-purpose, analog big connector doesn't make sense because that space is at a premium.
Okay, so Apple's second reason for killing the headphone jack is that the headphone jack takes up a lot of that precious internal space that can be otherwise used for other tech. This sounds a little bit more legit. In fact, I did some digging and found that in an interview with BuzzFeed, an Apple executive explained this second reason in more detail. He said that historically, at the top of iPhones, they had a small circuit board called a driver ledge that drives the iPhone's display and backlight. But on the iPhone 7, this driver ledge interfered with the new larger camera systems. I'm imagining that this was more so a problem with the 7 Plus with this dual camera system taking up twice the space. So the Apple engineers tried moving the driver ledge lower on the phone, which then interfered with other components like the headphone jack. So according to Apple, they tried removing the headphone jack altogether, and what they found was by not having the headphone jack, it made it easier to install the new taptic engine, and there was also space for a 14% larger battery on the iPhone 7 and a 5% larger battery on the iPhone 7 Plus. And to top it off, they said that removing the headphone jack helped the iPhone 7 obtain the IP67 water and dust rating that Apple seriously needed to compete with Samsung. So yeah, this seems like a real reason. I mean, obviously there's going to be differences in opinion as to whether or not trading the headphone jack for a larger battery, the new taptic engine, and a dual lens camera system was worth it. I know that they said it helped also make the phone water resistant, but the Galaxy S7 is water resistant and it still has a headphone jack, so I'm not buying that part. But as for the other features, I'll take Apple's word for it. But let's move on and hear Apple's third reason.
And third, and I think this is most important of all, when you have a vision of how the audio experience can be, you want to get there as fast as you can and make it as great as it can be. And we do have a vision for how audio should work on mobile devices. And that takes us to our next feature, wireless.
Okay, so Apple's third reason to killing the headphone jack is that Apple believes wireless is the future. In fact, there have been reports supporting this, showing that sales of Bluetooth headphones outnumber the sales of wired headphones. But again, while this may work as a supporting reason, by itself it isn't enough to be considered a real reason. I mean, what does the future being wireless have to do with removing the headphone jack? The Galaxy S7 can be charged wirelessly, but you don't see Samsung removing the charging port. So while I agree that wireless is the future, I'm gonna have to throw out reason number 3, but let's keep listening to see where they were going with this vision of a wireless future.
So that is why today we are so excited to show you a new product from Apple called Apple AirPods.
Oh, a pair of $160 AirPods. How convenient. Especially when you take into consideration that in that same BuzzFeed interview we were talking about earlier, an Apple exec said that the AirPod project was started at the same time as the Apple Watch project. I'm not sure if he was talking about the first Apple Watch or the second, but if he was talking about the first one, which it kind of sounds like he was, why didn't the AirPods come out sooner? It's not like the AirPods only work with the iPhone 7, as according to Apple's own website, they're compatible with older headphone jack equipped iPhones. So I find it a little convenient that Apple waited to launch the new AirPods alongside an iPhone that happens not to have a headphone jack, kinda nudging consumers to buy it. Just as it's convenient that Apple also happens to own Beats, which is the only other headphone brand that currently benefits and will likely ever benefit from Apple's new W1 chip that powers the amazing tech inside the AirPods. I also find it convenient that Apple can now charge other headphone brands an MFI certification fee in order for them to make wired headphones that'll work with the iPhone. That's a huge market of people, and it'll definitely cut into third-party headphone makers' profit margins while simultaneously giving Beats even more money for celebrity endorsements. Now, there's technically nothing wrong with any of this. It's just good business. In fact, it's great business. Apple didn't spend $3 billion on Beats for nothing. But when you ask why Apple killed the headphone jack, out of the 3 reasons that Apple gave us, the only one that makes any real sense is freeing up internal space. And then there's that unstated business reason why Apple may have killed the headphone jack. So which one is the real reason? Honestly, I think it's a little bit of both, with freeing up the internal space probably being the bigger one, as a lot of the iPhone 7's key new features supposedly depended on removing the jack. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Can you live without the headphone jack? Are the new features worth it to you? Or are you done with Apple and switching to Samsung? I'd love to hear what you guys think, but anyways, that is it for me in this video. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the very next episode.